It's going to be a good night. It's going to be a very, very, very good night. I got super intrigued in my research so much that I'm like, do I give all? Do I leave some? Do I leave you to figure out the rest? But I actually discovered that a lot of marriage couples are together but don't know each other. And so this is not just a singles conference. It's for every individual, because there are certain things that you go, I didn't know this. Now I know. That's why Jesus said, lack of knowledge, my people perish. So tonight, Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on us and speak through me like you always do. Turn your Bibles to Genesis chapter 2, verse 22, as we read from the New International Version. Genesis chapter 22, verse 22, as we read from the New International Version. And please help me with the scriptures. Then the Bible says, please stand for the reading of God's word. Then the Bible says, then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken from a man. The Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken from a man. So he literally took a rib and went and made a woman out of it. Then he brought it back to the man. Took the rib, made a woman, and brought it back to the man. Go to the next one. The man saw what God had done out of his investment, and he said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of me. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and unites with his wife. Unite. The Bible uses unites with his wife. This means that when you were born as a male, your rib is also released. And life will take you through every journey until you get to a matured age where you unite. Unite means we were departed, but we've come back together. So the Bible explains why a man, not a woman, leaves his father and mother. A male leaves his father and mother's house and unites with his wife. It's more important for a man to spend more time with his mom and dad. More important for a woman to spend more time with their mother and father than a man. I'm going to speak wisdom. When you're a young lady, don't be in a rush to leave your mother and father's house. Otherwise, the wrong people will find you and make you feel that you are the one. And with female, you can't take chances. A man can throw away seed, but a woman cannot negotiate with the conception of seed. I'm going to speak wisdom. So a man can leave house and throw away seed, waste their seed, and stay away. But a woman, once you stay away, you leave the protection you have. When you're under your parental protection as a woman, a man is supposed to knock at the door of your mother and father and say, I've seen a flower in your house, I want it. Then the father will ask, which of the flowers, if he has several daughters, like I have more daughters, so which one of them, then you tell me which one. In Africa, they do like a tradition where they'll tell you, go to the house, that's what they call engagement. Then you will go and do a knocking, that's what it's called. And you say, I have seen a flower in your house. The lady, so it doesn't matter where the lady is. The man and his family will make their way to the woman's house, not the woman's apartment. The woman's father's house. Then they will say, we've seen a flower in your house. Then the father will now come with dowry. He'll give you a list. That's how they do in Africa. You will have to pay the garden boy that was there. You pay the driver. You pay everybody. That's dowry. No, they do it comically, but it makes sense. Everybody that took care of this person, you must pay them. Because if they didn't take care of this person, you wouldn't pick this person to say, I want to marry. If you saw her as a prostitute on the road, if you're not Isaiah, that God said, go and naked yourself or marry a prostitute, then you can't do that, right? So in the African tradition, you do an engagement where you do a knocking and then you tell everybody your intention or why you want to marry this person. Then the father sometimes will say, is it this one? You say, no. Is it that one? You say, no. Then you say, it is this one, right? Tradition. But sometimes it's very interesting that you have to go through all that process. So this is why the Bible explains that a man leaves his father's house in search for the rib that God has created for him. And when he unites with this rib, he says, this is my wife and you shall become my flesh because you came out of me. Spirit of the living God, tonight, speak to me, through me, like you did yesterday. Thank you for wisdom. In Jesus' name, amen. Please be seated. Talking about singles conference, I was speaking to a pastor and said, Dr. Badu, when I heard you say it was a singles conference, I really wasn't sure what you were going to say. I didn't think we needed to hear it, but from yesterday, I discovered that I needed to hear it. And I said, yeah, I needed to hear it too, because when I speak, understand that I'm not speaking from my strength. There's an outage from, okay. I understand that I'm speaking based on what God is telling me to say. So there are a lot of things, after I say it, I go back to watch it because I need to be blessed as well. So yesterday greatly blessed me because it made me discover so many things. And tonight, you would actually discover yourself a bit more. Because there's something we normally say, you discover to recover. If you don't discover, you cannot recover. Once you discover, you're able to recover. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Now, singles conference means that this conference will be a great blessing to a lot of you who are not married yet, perhaps even still in marriage, perhaps have been in marriage for a long time, but you didn't know that these were issues or things you hadn't taken notice of. So I made you understand yesterday that being single is a blessing because it gives you the opportunity to reflect. It gives you the opportunity to self-search and soul-search. You have to search yourself to find yourself. You've got to date yourself to know yourself before you allow every other person in your life. I understand that I told you yesterday that you cannot be single for life. If you're African and it gets to a certain age and you start still single, they'll say you're cursed. Because it is upon every expectation, everybody's expectation that at a certain age, you must move on in life and start a family. Also, medically, it's very important to get married at the right age because as a male, the more responsibilities you have, the more tired you get. So if you get to a certain age and you're still single, you'd end up not being able to even perform as a male when you finally settle. Sounds funny, but it's true. As a female, it's easy to say no, but age cannot be your friend as a female because it gets to a certain age, it's difficult to bear a child. Medically, it's said that fibroid fills the gap of the womb when there's no child occupying a womb of a woman at a certain age. So people who are struggling with fibroid, they'll tell you that 98% of women have fibroid anyway, but it starts minute and it begins to get bigger and bigger when there's nothing called a baby filling that place. That's why most of the scans you go to see, they see a little fibroid and they tell you that it's not a fetus, it's a fibroid. Because fibroid contends with the child. So age is not your friend, even though they say age is nothing but a number. Trust me, it's a number, and that number is not your friend. Because age eventually catches up with you. There's certain things Lady J could run around and do, but at a certain age she could not. Even though she was perhaps athletic and extremely strong. So it's very important that as being in your single stage, you have the opportunity to discover yourself, know yourself, as I told you yesterday, know who you are, so that nobody introduces you to you, but you rather introduce yourself to people. The worst thing is in life is allowing somebody to introduce you to you. If you're not lucky and you get a manipulative person who doesn't know you, or who knows you but knows that you don't know you, they will destroy you and blame you, or perhaps take advantage of you. Men do recover quickly. Perhaps some men commit suicide. Women also struggle to recover after a detrimental heartbreak. And so it's very important that you don't waste your period and season of singleness. It's very important that you don't waste this period of being single, because wasted time cannot be bought back. Please listen to me. When you're in that period, wasted time wasted cannot be bought back. The season of singleness is not to enjoy and party around and have fun and jump in every car if you don't have a car, and go to every party if you're invited, drink, do whatever you know, and get home and ask your friend, what's the next party? No, your season of singleness is to discover yourself. Your season of singleness is to date yourself. Look for you. Who am I? What makes me happy? What makes me smile? What tingles me? What upsets me? What don't I like? What can I tolerate? What can I not tolerate? You're going to be blessed tonight. And so it's very vital, ladies and gentlemen, that in this period of your life, if you're single, you help yourself to find you and not allow anybody to find you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So yesterday I spoke about various temperaments that perhaps can help you find you. And we discovered that there was the pragmatic, there was the melancholic, there was the choleric, and sanguine. And so tonight I've titled my message, CROSSBREED, the strategic planning. 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 I was doing a little bit of research on what a crossbreed was, and I discovered a few interesting things that farmers normally would do. They would normally crossbreed different animals, crossbreed dogs, crossbreed perhaps plants, or crossbreed horses and donkeys. So, crossbreed simply means looking out for what you don't have that you wish you could have, find it in somebody, and mate it together. Crossbreed means that look at you to discover what you don't have and find out who has it and crossbreed. So I was doing further research, and I discovered that there is a kind of horse called the Hinny, Hinny. And the Hinny is an offspring of the male horse, a stallion, and the female donkey called a jenny. The Hinny is an offspring between the male horse called a stallion and the female donkey called a jenny. Then you also have a mole, which is an offspring of the male donkey called a jack and the female horse called a mare. Now, the farmer, based on value, can decide to put these offsprings together and come out with either a Hinny or a mole, and obtains value. I had pictures, I don't know if you guys can help me put it on. So they look similar, but their strengths are different. The donkey is not as fast as the horse, but the donkey works harder and is stronger than the horse. So the farmer puts them together. The strength of the male donkey is different from the strength of the male horse. So if they crossbreed all of that together, they either get a Hinny or a mole. And based on business, they can decide on what they want to do. Crossbreed, the strategic planning. I did further research yesterday, as I was telling you that I'll go a bit deeper on temperaments yesterday. And I discovered more about these 4 temperaments. I discovered more. I discovered that the sanguine, irrespective of what they have advantages and also disadvantages. So as a single personnel, male or female, you are to know who you are. Very vital. Know who you are and whose plate you can offer more. So the sanguine, like I said, is highly talkative, enthusiastic, active, a social person, extrovert, enjoys being around and being a part of a crowd, very charismatic, outgoing, friendly, people-oriented. And sanguines normally influence their environment by encouraging others to work together. So when you have a sanguine in your team, you discover that they are that one that if there is issues with 2 people, they try to merge it and make it work. A lot of people don't know who they are. And so you go into a relationship shortchanging yourself. But if you know who you are, you literally know what you're putting on the table. Remember that every temperament has an advantage and a disadvantage. Every temperament. So no temperament is far better than the other. We all know who we are. We all know who our advantages are and what our disadvantages are and what we must do to become a better people. So sanguines normally influence their environment and encourage others to work together. Amongst all the 4 temperaments, the sanguine is extremely versatile. That means that the sanguine can be put in any other situation and they can handle it. They're not, I don't want this, I don't want, no. Put a sanguine in any situation and they will fit it. Switch the light off. They will fit every and any environment. Of course, if you're in an organization that you need a sanguine there, you need a playmaker, someone that will lit the room, someone that will look, why is it quiet here? Put the music on. You need a sanguine around you, free-spirited. They don't care about tomorrow, they care about today. Extremely versatile. Very playful. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Listen, a sanguine will come and say, what's wrong with everybody? Shonda, you're more of a sanguine. I see you. Yeah. Shonda will come and say, why is everybody quiet here? Where's the music? Let's play it on. Sanguines are normally impulsive, but very persuasive, easily amused. They are expressive, very affectionate, very receptive, and very approachable. If you want to run a church, you need a sanguine in there. If you want to run a business, you need a sanguine in there. Because there are times you're not in the mood to talk. You tell, hey, go tell them. They are the link between negative and positive. They'll say, listen, she didn't mean it that way. She meant it this way. So, in as much as you feel they're playful and la-di-da, you need that in an organization. And these are things that we never knew. I have a friend called Pogasti, and he's a sanguine. He will show up and enjoy the hour like there's no tomorrow. And you realize that when a sanguine is not around your environment, everybody's like, man, where is this person? If this person was here, everybody would be dancing. So the sanguine is the bridge between relationships. If you don't have these knowledges, you end up not understanding an individual, but you will discover. When we have welfare meetings, Lady Daisy is different. I'll tell you her temperament. Shonda is different. I'll tell you her temperament. Lady Jackie is different. What they don't know is I knew everybody's temperament. And I knew how to bring it together. That's what they don't know. Because it will be difficult to put double temperaments at the same place. If I put too much of sanguines, they'll be too playful, we'll get nothing done. Because sanguines will play, but won't get it done. Celebrities move with people, but trust me, they need sanguines in there to light up the atmosphere. I'm sorry, I might just stay at one place, right? I'm to stay at one place. Sorry. So understand that no temperament is above the other. It's like the animal kingdom. Every kind of animal is different, but they all amount to the animal kingdom. The problem with human beings is because we don't know who we are, we might feel we're better than the other. But everybody is important. However, Singleton Lane, number 115 Singleton Lane, is this period where you discover who you are. So once you know who you are and you go into a room, you discern that this room is too cold. Then you start warming everybody up. And that builds your value. That makes you know what your value is. So you put a price to your value now. Because a lot of people have not discovered who they are, they don't know where they fit. And if you get an abuser who knows who you are, they will abuse you and not let you know that they know who you are. If you end up in the wrong relationship without knowing who you are, if you are typical choleric, you just need a sanguine who can warm up your atmosphere. But understand that they have a circle to run around. Are you full? So all these things apply in relationships. Because I was doing another research and I discovered that all these temperaments can actually merge together. Choleric and choleric can live together. It's just when you know who you are, you know what triggers you and you know what to do. Now let us move to the choleric. I did more research because I promised you yesterday that I'm going to add more to. Because I was like, wait, how many preachers or teachers or motivational speakers take time to talk about these? For people to understand who they really are. Because Chandra, if you don't know who you are, that relationship you're in will be abused. And you say, Papa, he hurt me. But perhaps you were not compatible. I told you, you might look good on paper, you might look good in picture, but it doesn't guarantee your compatibility. So if your friends say, oh my God, like you guys fit each other, don't be so amused at that moment until you know what temperaments are. Now, the typical choleric is dominant, independent, decisive, goal-oriented, ambitious, and natural leader. Natural leader. Put a choleric anywhere and you see they'll start leading the people. They overcome positions to get results. Cholerics are quick thinkers, strong-willed. You can't convince a choleric easily. They have self-confidence. That means that even if you tell them they are not good enough, they've told themselves they're good enough. Cholerics are direct to the point. They don't beat about the bush. They'll tell you what it is. They'll tell you the truth. Cholerics are firm when communicating with others. They're firm. They'll tell you this is what I want done and get this done and get this done. This surprised me. Cholerics like pressure. In fact, they are easily bored when things are not happening fast enough. And I'll tell, Christelle was complaining that, Papa, I love working, but, we need a bit of time. I've done stadium concerts, and maybe if we were doing 1 month preparation, I'll be quiet behind the scene. And 3 days to the time, that's when I'm in my element, telling over 200 workers, get this done, because cholerics, I just discovered. So if you don't know that your partner is a choleric, you think, what is wrong with you? If you don't know that your boss is a choleric, you will think, boss, you're stressing me out. But he didn't decide who he wanted to be. That's why it's important to know who you are, know temperaments, and understand temperaments. They get bored easily when things are happening and not happening fast enough. They are bold and they like to take the risk. Cholerics find it easy to make decisions for themselves as well as others. So a choleric can tell you, this is who you are and this is where we're going to go. Because this is their character trait. They find it easy to make decisions for themselves as well as others. Now watch this. They wake up waiting to control change and overcome something. So they wake up with a mission. This didn't work yesterday, it must change today, and they come up with an idea. Cholerics leave little room for negotiation. That's me typically. Cholerics leave little room for no. This is what it is. This is what it must be. It's usually their way or no other way. Cholerics are typically visionaries. And they seem to never run out of ideas. Cholerics seem to never run out of ideas or plan and goals, which are usually practical. So he's just there, or he's just there thinking about ideas. They never run out. Cholerics don't require much sleep, so their activities seem endless. Their activities always has a purpose because they are goal-driven. Cholerics slow down to build a relationship. They're not fast. They slow down to build a relationship. And so they tend to have few close friends because results are more important than people. Typical choleric. So they don't get into friends easily. No, I can literally count my friends and tell you who my friends are. Because results are more important than partying and calling this person and chatting with this person. Now this hit me hard. They don't empathize with feelings of others or show compassion. Cholerics think big and seek position of authority. Cholerics can be short-tempered. Now, what I discovered is amongst all the temperaments, the cholerical temperament is the least that normally occur in just everybody. You can find a lot of different temperaments, but choleric you hardly get. And number two, it is extremely rare to find a female choleric. That's what researchers said. It's rare. You maybe 1 in 1,000 to find a female choleric. Perhaps that's why there are more male presidents than female presidents. Now let's go to the melancholic. The melancholic is analytical, detail-oriented, deep thinker, quality-oriented, operates from a plan. If there's no plan, they're not executing it. They're very private. They're logical. They need information and time alone to think. They need information. Once you give them the information, they need time to think of a detailed plan in order to function right. They're very reserved and spacious until they are sure of your intention. So forgive a melancholic if they can't trust you easily. It's part of their personality. They're very reserved until they trust you. So if you go into a relationship and you don't know who you are, you will literally not understand, and he will not understand you, or she would not understand you, because you don't know it's your temperament. That's why you must date yourself first. Oh God, I wish they could hear it. Melancholics probe for the hidden meaning behind your words. So when you say one word to a melancholic, they want to find out what you're trying to say. They are timid. They may appear unsure and have series of expression. They are self-sacrificing. They are very gifted and can be a perfectionist. So if in an organization you have a melancholic, it's good. Because when you give them a task, they'll do it and perfect it and say, is this what you want to see? They're very picky, sensitive to what others think about their work. So melancholics are work-driven. They are very well organized. They can be very moody, which usually relates to their negative evaluation of people or events. They fear taking risk. They hate being viewed as incompetent. They are creative and capable people. They tend to get bored when something so they get bored at something once they figured it out. They're like, give me the next project. They are typical introverts. So if you don't understand that the man you're with is a melancholic, or the woman you're with, you wouldn't understand why you want to go out, but he wants to stay home or she wants to stay home. And if you don't know that this is who you are, you wouldn't understand why you don't fear to go out. Melancholic have also the trait of, or try to avoid being singled out of the crowd. They are self-reliant. They are very thoughtful people. When they decide to think about you, there's nothing you can do about it. They are very reserved, often anxious, and they strive for perfection within themselves and their surroundings, which leads to tidy and detailed oriented behavior. So start looking at friends who are melancholics and understand them. If you understand me, you can live with me. If I understand you, I can live with you. Now let's go to the pragmatic. The pragmatic is relaxed, very peaceful, quiet, easygoing. They are extremely sympathetic and they care about others. Yet they try to hide their emotions. The pragmatic is service-oriented. They are also introverted. They are calm, but unemotional. They're easygoing, but indecisive. When you live with a pragmatic, they don't know what they want to do the whole day. Indecisive, my wife. Pragmatic, typical pragmatic. But they are very patient, agreeable. They're slow to warm up, but will be accommodating in the process. So you need to be patient with a pragmatic because they take time to warm up. But they will be accommodating in the process. That means that they're slow to warm up, but they're trying to be okay. But it is their character trait. They don't warm up easily. Pragmatics are easy to get along with. Check this one out. They're easy to get along with as long as you don't try to alter their routine and ask them to change. Oh. So long as you don't fight them to change, you can work with them. What pragmatic hates is that they're comfortable here, and you're saying, no, it's changed here. See, whoever wrote this knows this. So they have knowledge of how to handle things. How about people who have no knowledge and are clashing? So once you have that knowledge, you know that this is how the type of person is. So your approach system changes because you now know that this is how this type of person is. Pragmatics avoid getting too involved with people. They don't like getting in people's businesses. They don't like getting into people's life in general. They prefer a private, low-key lifestyle centered around their homes and family. Centered around so long as it's to do with their homes, they're like lionesses at so long as it's to do with their home and family, they will take care of it. Pragmatics are good team players. They communicate a warm, sincere interest in others, but they prefer to have just a few close friends too. They strongly resist change. Hear this. There's an English term or English statement that my wife normally makes. It's almost 4 years I've tried to change that statement. Till date. I've given up, and all I'm trying to do is that my children don't start saying the same thing. Every time she says it, I say, no, it's like this. She say, yeah. Oh, they'll go back to that same one. But I didn't know that until I discovered that they strongly resist change. So this way, you make it a prayer topic. That God, you are the one that can change everybody. Pragmatics avoid conflicts, but they hold grudges. When you get into a grudge with a pragmatic, ignore, just go. They will hold beef. They can be patient to the point of paralysis. Good in generalizing ideas or solving problems and making compromises. However, they procrastinate every day. So you see, it's important to know who you are, so that when you're going into any relationship, you tell them that this is how I am. Oh, you either have to have patience. So I was trying to compare myself and my wife, and I realized that, okay, what we kind of have in common a lot is that we're introverts. We don't like too many friends. So I discovered that, oh, no, there are a few things that's what I like. That's why, so many things. But a lot of things that's why I said marriage couples also need to hear this, because you might be with your spouse and you don't know that the reason why she's doing this or he's doing this is because this is how they are. And you did not decide how they want to become. Perhaps you were attracted by physicality and didn't do analysis. So a lot of relationships are even externally influenced, where it's like, oh, you guys make a good couple. You only saw us in a picture. We make a good couple. Most influences was as a result of external voices say, you make a good couple. But getting into a relationship goes beyond making a good couple. Because if you discover that he's a typical choleric and you can't understand him, you will clash. We're stubborn. But it's our stubbornness and resiliency that has made us achieve. So if you don't understand who you are, you will be confused and confuse others. You'll be blind and lead the blind. Understand that most of you who go and look at marriages online and you're like, oh my God, I want to get married. The truth is, most people who desire to get married, they just plan for the wedding day and not plan for forever. Most people that I counsel before marriage, it's just all about the wedding day and I want this and I want this Rolls Royce and I want this, and not plan for forever. That's why weddings here, I'll tell you, what are you planning? When they give me a budget, I tell them, cut this budget, put this in your bank account, get a smaller place, invite only 15 people. Because when you have problems, you wouldn't call all the 678 people that you invited. In fact, 422 were against it. 120 just wanted to see. There was only 10 family members that were really happy for you. I hope I'm blessing somebody. I really want to take time to communicate across. So I realized that weddings with 1,000 people and everybody doing all that, it's unnecessary, because there are people who are still divorced but still paying for their wedding bills. So part of the counseling when you come is, what's your budget for your wedding? And I will reduce your budget. No, I will reduce it. If the woman cannot understand that that hotel is fine and you don't want this flamboyant one with all these lights, then you better watch out. If she's demanding that this is what I must have, then you better watch out. Because marriage is not the instant wedding. It's more of, what are we doing about our future? So if you don't know yourself, do not break the heart of somebody's daughter, or do not break the heart of somebody's son if you don't know yourself. There's a young man that I mentor. His name is Stoneboy. He's a circular artist. And his wife is a doctor, a dentist. And I've known Stone for about 10 years. Matter of fact, the reason why I feel indebted to help him is when he was nobody, they came to me. And they begged me to help, but because of his genre, I was skeptical. So when I realized that was the guy, I was like, is that the guy that they came to me? And so I feel like I owe his family that. His wife is a doctor, Dr. Louisa. His wife's father is a medical doctor too. The wife took after the father. He's a dentist, top doctor. But her husband is an entertainer. Anytime Stoneboy gets himself into trouble, trust me, it's the wife that's standing behind the scene, making sure that the husband doesn't come down. Recently, there was a little problem, and I was calling them. I couldn't get to. Stone was overwhelmed. I called his wife. The wife narrated everything. A doctor narrated, and I watched Stoneboy doing a lot of charitable thing, and you see the wife, doctor, leading the host in the charity that her husband, who's an entertainer, is doing. So you can have a certain temperament, but if you understand your partner's temperament, you can be compatible. In fact, if we're talking about prayer, the wife will call me, Papa, this is what happened. I'll tell the wife, don't do this, don't do this. Thank you, Papa. Go and meet the wife is the. So after the wife narrated the story, Stoneboy calls me and says, Papa, you heard everything, right? My wife, I said everything. So I don't need to say anything again. And I see how she's empathetic when she's speaking. It's like she is speaking as what my husband has done is for all of us. I wouldn't allow this to drop. She fights. So once you understand or know your temperament or know yourself, you know who to pick, irrespective of their profession. So it's not your profession that gets me to marry you, it's your temperament. Because temperaments complement. It's not profession that complements. Profession can be contradictory, but temperament complements. Is somebody following me? The crossbreed. The crossbreed. Being single gives you an advantage to be a crossbreeder. Somebody say crossbreeder. Sorry, America, crossbreeder. The crossbreeder. Are we online? I want to apologize to all those who are. We're using our phones because we want everybody to be blessed. We had a huge storm that has affected everything internet-wise. So please forgive us. You know, we work in extreme excellence. Please do forgive us. But I hope you're being blessed so far. We're not on YouTube, right? We're not. So I told you what the henny is and who the mole is. And it's a decision of the farmer to crossbreed. The male horse or the female donkey, or the male donkey or the female donkey. A female horse. Now hear me, there's a difference between mixed breed and crossbreed. Mixed breed is when the parentage is unknown. But crossbreed is when the offspring is deliberate. Mixed, there's a difference between mixed breed. So those who are mixed race, we can't find your race. That's why it is mixed. We don't know if you're Scottish or English or this or that. Mixed race. So I didn't know there's a difference between mixed breed and crossbreed. When you are mixed raised or mixed breed, let me not even make mixed race people come against me. I'm begging you. But when you're mixed breeded, it means you have a mixture of everything. So you might have an attitude of a Scottish and a behavior of a Jamaican. And then when you dig in deeper, you see that there's a little bit of American in there. And there's a little bit of Ghanaian in you. So mixed race. And some Americans are mixed race because you don't know where you're coming from. That is why sometimes you don't understand certain behaviors. There's a young man I work with, and he comes from a certain country I wouldn't mention in Europe. But that country's behavior is so, oh my God, those people are mean. But he can speak 3 languages in Ghana because he's Ghanaian. Now, there are certain character traits I discovered, and somebody said, Cedric said something. Cedric said, why are you surprised? He's from this place. I said, I I understand now. So now I'm not offended. This is their character. Are you following me? So my assistant said, Doc, why are you surprised? This is half of his race. Don't you know how these people are? That's when I understood. So even when it comes to race, before you go into somebody's race, you must understand what they are racing on. Don't just look at the cute, handsome, he's light skinned, he's built, he got coolie hair, he got blue eye. Listen, he might have the blue eye, but everything will blurize you in life. We are used to going out for the looks. But if you want to go on the lane and the journey of marriage, marriage goes beyond looks. So, if you don't know the breed of the mixed race, do your research before you step in. Because every race has a character. The German race has a character. The Russian race has a character. The English race has a character. The Nigerian race has a character. The Ghanaian race has a character. The American race has a character. The Jamaican race has a character. So if you want to marry a Jamaican, you got to check the race first. These are things that people don't know. So you get into it, and by the time you turn to understand each other, you're 20 years down the line. So I will rather go for crossbreed than mixed breed. Is somebody following me? A lot of people marry for sexual reasons. If you're such, or people who have the assumption that when I'm marrying it's because I'm enjoying the sex, there's a season, or there will be a season where in a whole month, in the whole 2 months. So marriage goes beyond sexual reasons. One of the reasons why you marry is because you want to build a family if you desire to leave a legacy on earth. I know a lot of gospel artists or musicians who have died and they had no kids. And the moment they died, that was it. Their legacy was wiped out. Nothing to talk about, no child to have, and there was nothing. And I know a lot of musicians who have died, but because their children are carrying their name, they have left a legacy. So as a man, you go and find a wife, not for sexual reasons, but you find a wife, a partner to build life with, to build a family with, and to leave a legacy as a man. And as a woman, you also have the option to choose who you want to build legacy with. Not with an armed robber or a fraudster. If you're a woman and your husband is a fraudster, your children are called prostitutions. It's in my dictionary. Prostitutes. So, as a woman, before you say I do, you got to find out what work he's doing. Don't be blinded by love. Because sometimes the tires of love can have punctures. You must look at him. If he says, I'm a businessman, ask him, what business are you doing? Is it 9 to 12 or 12 to 12? Fraudsters normally work at midnight. Sometimes follow him to work. Oh, sorry. Surprise him at work. Oh, yeah. So if they are into any kind of job, find out. So the police will not be knocking at your door when you're heavily pregnant. When you're heavily pregnant. So your hands doesn't see him in handcuff, holding your children behind. Because you were fooled and blindfolded with stupid love. So as a woman, you have the right to interview. You know, the beginning of relationship, men want to impress. That's the time you take advantage, because after he gets you, you're not going to interview him again. So during the dates, when you're going out, don't sell yourself cheap. Ask questions. And when you're asking, sit down and cross your leg like you're the boss. Because you're asking questions, so you will employ him in your heart. Listen, don't be moved by his flashy cars. It will flash at your face one day. Listen attentively when he's speaking. If you're lucky, not even luck, find out if he's God-fearing. Because you cannot have money. You can be with a man without money. But if he fears God, wisdom walks with him. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. He can date you and take you to KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. But when you listen to his words, you'll discover that in no time, you'll be having constant dinner at the back head. So, as a young lady, don't look at the flashy cars. Perhaps he's using somebody's credit card. If they tell you they are traders, find out which trading they are doing. Because there are innocent faces that are fraudsters. They have PhD in human deception. No, I kid you not. There are some people who have no heart. They don't care about their children. They don't care about their family. They are so dubious and caught up in the occultism of their fraud. So before you become a Mrs., because Mrs. requires submission, find out, what are you doing? What do you do? If he comes and says, let's go shopping, and he takes you to Louis Vuitton, and ask him, how did you get the money? Ask him, did you save some in your bank account? Don't go following, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Your destiny is more important than, oh my God. That holiday in Dubai, worth nothing after internet exposes their real job. Recently, a young man got exposed by all the frauds Now everybody that took pictures with him said we don't know him. When your woman look for a man of integrity, when he says yes, his yes is yes. When he says no, his no is no. When you're a man, look for a woman who will stand by you, no matter what, excluding fraudulent act. When it's fraudulent, they'll lead you to Christ. Is somebody getting blessed? I feel like talking to me. So there's a difference between mixed breed and crossbreed. Mixed breed is unidentified. You don't know which is which. But crossbreed is a deliberate act by the farmer. Let me pick the donkey and let him live with the horse to get a hinny or a mole, perhaps male or female aspect. So being single is a blessing because it's a period where you identify yourself. You can't be single for long, depending on your medical background, or depending on your family altar. So it means that you don't have enough time to be fooling around. You don't have enough time to be clubbing around. You don't have enough time to be on everybody's guest list. So you marry not for sexual reasons or pleasurable reasons. Otherwise, it's slavery. You marry because you desire to leave a legacy and to build a family. So if you fall into the category of desiring to leave a legacy, then you become a crossbreeder and not a mixed breeder. If you desire to leave a legacy on earth, then you become a crossbreeder and not a mixed breeder. Crossbreeders are strategic planners. So before the farmer makes a female donkey and a male horse mate, he has a reason for his hinny, or when a male horse and a female donkey mate for his mole. He is intentional. So being single, you must have the mindset of a crossbreeder, not a mixed breeder. Mixed breeder means anything goes, so we cannot identify your identification. Crossbreeder means I'm deliberate. I know what I'm doing. I know what I want. What do I mean by being deliberate as a crossbreeder? A couple a few months ago came to me for prayers. And the woman was in extreme distress. They came to me for prayers. So they booked an appointment and they got to me. Then when they got there, the woman started crying. Pastor, Dr. Badu, lay hands on my 2 children. I said, why? Papa, we have spent so much money on their school. And the children keep failing with F, 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 F. The mother was so tearful. Whilst the mother was talking about shame and it's embarrassing, Pastor, it's embarrassing. The father was busy saying, the money I'm spending on these children that they go and fail, I don't know what to do. So I was just, as a counselor, you just got to let everybody talk. Then I asked them a simple question. what else do they like doing? Then the mother said, the teacher said when it comes to football, they will jump and run around and play football. Am I paying school fees for football? When it comes to sports, they are running. When it comes to music, they are running. Am I paying for that stupid thing? What am I paying for music? Then I smiled and I asked them, which one of you were into sport? Then she smiled. And she said, the father used to run in school. The father used to play soccer. And I said, okay. Which one of you were academically good in school? They both looked at each other. None of them. No, they were trying to see if it's me. Like, you know when you want to say me or me, but you know you can't tell a lie because this one will expose you. That one will expose you. So they were looking at each other. Who goes first? And I said, no, just tell me. Who was academically good in school and all of that? Then they said, oh, Pastor, we were. Then the man now came out and said, you know, in athletics, I said, no. That's not what I'm asking. In fact, you didn't answer me. Your wife answered me. You're trying to justify yourself. Then I said, okay, do me a favor. Rather than spending all your money on them academically, start investing in the sports of their interest. They did that. And then recently, I think 2 days ago, I got a phone call that one of their sons has had an offer, young boy, from one of the Premier League teams in London. Then the man will say, hey, Pastor, that's my gift, you know. That's my son. I used to play football. Pastor, I only injured my leg. And now they are calling, this is money. Hey, Chinedu, come here. Did I mention him? Sorry. Come here. God bless you. But a few months ago, you came to me to say he's as dumb as the dumbest. You told me that you've wasted money. Mathematics, F. Geography, F. English, F. Science, F. And you were distressed talking about all your cousins, that their children are doing well and you want them to be at the same class. But when I suggested that take them to something of their passion and interest, they have something that now you're jumping over. Ladies and gentlemen, understand that based on your X and Y chromosomes and your autosomes and allosomes, your children will always inherit what you give them. So when you're busy attacking them after they've come back with bad examination result, look at yourself and find out who was not intelligent.
Don't get me in trouble, Pastor.
Because once you marry, you have activated CROSSBREED. Once you say I do and put the ring on the finger, marriage is the longest term jail sentence where you have to accommodate your inmate or you kill each other. The ring is the smallest handcuff that can be placed on your finger. When you go out, they must see your ring. So those who have taken your ring, so when they see it, they see, have you been released from jail? Who released you? Hey! Don't you realize that your spouse is angry when you're not wearing, because he wants everybody to know you've been jailed, and she wants everybody to, you've been jailed too. So The problem with this jail sentence is you learn to accommodate your inmate, or forever you will not be at peace. Are you getting blessed today? So once you say I do, automatically, or once you have a sexual intercourse for spermatozoa to be released, and you carry a child, you have crossed breed. That's why, young lady, before you open your leg for him to go to heaven, find out if he's saved. Otherwise, you go carry wahala in hell for the rest of your life. That's why when you are insulting them, you say, look at your behavior like your father. Don't you see that they remind you of their father? Oh, man. That's why if you are not ready to go there, don't go there. Because if you go there, you go and carry belly, that crossbreed, we all see. Because autosomes and allosomes and chromosomes and XY, they will all be in that child. Don't you see that you can deny? But the nose looks like the father. See the big flat nose. Even at the age of 1, they are behaving like their father. My little 2-year-old boy, I'm the one that interprets what he's doing to my wife and say, leave him. Let him do. This is what he means. If he does it, because I have seen my identical twin in that 2-year-old. So now I'm his interpreter. I'm telling people, relax. This is what he means. He actually adopted my left-handed. That means he's southpaw. Very intelligent. A 2-year-old. Yesterday, I saw him hit his older sister. Pam! Then he realized I was there. So when he said, yay, Jehovah, this old man has caught me. So you know what he did? Sorry. Imani, sorry. 2-year-old boy looking at his 5-year-old says, Imani, sorry. Then he started, daddy. Then he ran out of the room. I could foresee myself of how I 419 my mother every time. I am seeing it right under my nose. I better call 911. Otherwise, this one will press me down, shake me together, and run me over. Crossbreed right under your nose. So you are blaming the child. Oh, coward, blame yourself. When you see the F, say, another repetition of history. That's why the last time they asked you for your results, you say you can't find them. Because when you find them, they will see that all the results are identical twins. F. Your own and their own is similar. Some fathers say, I can't find it. When I moved, I lost it. You're lying. It's the same thing there. Same history. You've only forgotten your history. Crossbreed means once you met and have intercourse and there's a seed, that seed will carry everything. And curses, blessings, everything. Autosomes, allosomes, everything. That is why the white men in Europe, they take time to see the gift of their children. Then they discover that if this was their passion, let them invest in their children. So they even take camera and follow. Johnny boy, keep jumping. Johnny boy, keep playing the ball. And then when the Johnny boy becomes a soccer star, they will bring a whole history. Because if you know where you are coming from, you don't frustrate your innocent child who only inherits you. Crossbreed. Strategic planning. You see, life is full of strategies and plan. Life is full of strategies and plan. So if your mother was with a lazy man, what are you doing with a lazy man? You are looking at yourselves and seeing how all of you have a problem. What are you doing with a male or a female with similar problems? Who will suffer? The crossbreed. The offspring. That's why I said when it comes to choosing a spouse, it's not beauty. It's not the outside. It is the inside. And sometimes they might not look the part, but you have to discern, and you can only discern by prayer. Because some people can pretend. Especially men. They can pretend until they can finally control you. A man who doesn't go to church can follow you to church. After he gets you, he'll tell you stop going to church. Years ago, I was on the flight with Dr. Lawrence Tetter, and they had a little sister. And we were chatting, and he's like, we need a lawyer for my sister. And I looked at him, I said, what do you mean you need a lawyer? Then he said, yeah, she's an accountant, so we need a lawyer to marry my sister. I didn't understand it, but now I do. Because when you are a strategic planner, if a lawyer marries an accountant, then the child is will become a medical doctor or a top lawyer as well. I didn't, we were on the flight. And he said it, and I was like, what does he mean? Now I do. Because if you're a medical doctor, you go and get somebody who is into sports but not academically intelligent, your offsprings, some will be good, some would not be good. And it could frustrate you if you don't understand strategic crossbreed. So some will be as intelligent as their father and not so classroom oriented like perhaps their mother. But they are domestically powerful, and in sport, you can't conquer them. So once you understand, perhaps a lot of marriage people are going through the same thing where they don't know why their children keep repeating history. This is the problem. Your offspring is a product of your breed. Is somebody being blessed tonight? So when you're marrying, please ensure that yes, you're in love, but marry with your head screwed on. And look into fine details. And make sure you check all the boxes that you tick. And don't be moved by his words or her words. Find out what qualities. Find out what school she went to. Find out what school he went to. Education never ceases. Even if they were dropout, what school did they go to after dropping out? How good were they academically? When you know yourself and you know your spouse, you wouldn't waste money. You will invest money right. You will invest money right, strategically. Because sporting gifts make you more money. But society has made it look as sports is a waste of time. It's just recently. Because even until 3, 4, 5 years ago, in Africa, when you played soccer, you were a waste of time. Oh yeah, it was a curse to play soccer. It was a curse to be an athlete. Of course, in Africa, if you're an athlete, you're a waste of time. The only sport they recognize is soccer. But many soccer players were made to go find jobs elsewhere. and go to school and fail and fail and are still writing exams. Whereas God gave them that natural gift. But because people didn't understand the power of crossbreed, they thought it was abnormal to be failing in class. It's not abnormal. I was not so good in the classroom, but athletically I was good. My sisters were very good in the classroom, but when it came to soccer and sports and other games, I was the best. I only realized that my way of learning was different and my teacher didn't have patience because I'm a super intelligent man. But the secondary school I attended, one of the reasons why they got me was because of my soccer. When I was a kid playing in parks, people would pay to come and watch me. And my mother wanted me to become an architect, but that's not what God wanted me to. So she paid a lot of money. I haven't even gone for my exams results almost 35 years after. I'm not going to collect her. JJ, you collect your own? I did. After I wrote the exam, I knew I failed. In fact, there was one boy that I told him, I'm copying you tonight. And if you disturb me copying you, I will let them arrest the two of us. So you better humble yourself. So I copy you to write so that if I travel, I can remember you. Sonnie Badu. Because I wouldn't have time to sit down to study. I'm not interested. But look at how God locks me down for 8 hours, 9 hours to learn allosome, chromosomes, and physics. And yeah. That means that it was inside of me. My teacher just didn't have patience. So as a single young lady or single man, you have the opportunity to think strategically to know what to crossbreed. So that what you didn't have, your offspring will have. Oh, JJ, I know I'm doing that. I actually was going to talk about you. Pastor JJ's daughter, Jessie, is going on the global scene. I mean, we've seen her gymnasting. I mean, I see her somersaulting and, I'm like, wow. But in school, I know he doesn't somersault. JJ was a quiet science. You do science or what? Besides that, he's a quiet science student that will be quiet. So I know this Jersey somersaulting is not from the father. Because I know JJ in school. The other day, Imani wanted to try. I said, hey! I don't have the heart for this one. Look at Jessie, somersaulting. The other day she broke her hand. I thought she was going to stop. No, she repaired and she's back. But every time I talk to JJ, he keeps saying, this is my wife's cousin and my wife's family and they're athletic. So this is from his wife's family. JJ was very intelligent in school. So his kids have taken that side, but they are now having 80% and exhibiting that much of the wife's family. So he's doing everything he can to push them, because the crossbreed meant that this is a product. So when you're single, you have the opportunity to see. In fact, you can do a wish list. Wish list is you know what you don't have. Then you start writing down what you want for your child. Is that the chain? Yeah. What you want for your child. And then you strategically find yourself around a single man that has it. That's when you start dating. So when you're single, you have the opportunity to think through. I have a musician called Kwame Yeboah. Oh, sorry, I mentioned his name. So I'm not going to talk about what I wanted to say. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Sorry. Sorry. Now, if you go and marry a man who 80%, or a woman who 80% of their family members are in jail, do not sacrifice an innocent child, because until you deal or deliver that family, you will repeat history. So I've done counseling. I do counseling. I see mothers coming with their children. Where's their father? In jail. Where's their father? In jail. Was in jail. In jail. Was in jail. Where's that child? Oh, he has a jail sentence. We have a court case. I've seen counseling with children coming with court case. Where's their father? In jail. So being single gives you the opportunity to figure out your life. Where you were that you did not desire to be, and where you wish to be. If you know you're not as intelligent as you need to be, but domestically good, find a woman who is intelligent, crossbreed. If you're a woman and you know that there's something you don't have, find a crossbreed. Otherwise, your offspring will be worse than the two of you. That will be a mixed breed. And so crossbreeding, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, is a very important factor when it comes to finding your life partner. It's very important that God gives you the strategic eye to foresee the future of your spouse or the person you desire to be with, so that innocent children don't become victims. That's why even when it comes to sickle cell, you have the SS, and they tell you if your SS don't get a woman or a spouse that has excess. Why? Because your offspring will suffer the worst. So they normally advise you that if you're SS, then find, or AA, or don't, they'll tell you what not to do. Because the medical field understand the power of crossbreed. So they will tell you, are you sickle cell? Is your partner sickle cell? Then they will advise you that it's not advisable to be together. Otherwise the child will suffer. And I've had friends who were sickle cell, that the whole of the parents' life was channeled to that one child, because every day they were in hospitals. And why do you allow an innocent child to suffer because you're in love or you couldn't control your libido? So crossbreed, ladies and gentlemen, means strategic planning as a woman, strategic planning as a man, not just letting anything and anyone come around you, but because you want to leave a legacy, because you want to leave a footprint on earth, because you want to raise a family, you choose the right spouse. You choose the perfect, the character or personality that also complements you. Ladies and gentlemen, once you adapt to this strategies, you discover that your relationship and your life will become much better. And things you couldn't achieve or attain in life, you will see them in your offspring. You see them in your children. You see that things that you struggle to do, your offspring will do it and do it better because you strategically planned for them. Because every offspring has a percentage of blood from their parents. Please rise up on your feet. When you have things in common, you communicate a bit more because you always find something in common. Let me say it again. When you have things in common, you communicate more because you find something in common. Because think about it, when God blesses you and you all go old and gray, you still have to have something in common that you go back at. That's why in the season, it's very important to know yourself. To know who, as a man, a visionary, a man that will pick a woman and place your name on, know who you are. You might not be where you want to be, but you still have to envision where you want to be. You're not where you want to be, but you still have to foresee. Everything I'm doing now, 10 years ago, I told my wife, this is what I'll do. Everything I'm doing now, I told her, this is what I'll do. I told her the way, my mannerism, this is what I'll do. And we were not even married yet. But I kept on telling her about my dream. You saw it. We were not even married yet. But I made her know that the little I had, I'll sell everything and let her smile. I built her one of the biggest, most expensive nurseries. We were not married yet. When a man loves you, he'll show you the signs before he puts the ring on the finger. And these signs are signs of guarantee that if he had nothing and he could do this for you, then when he has something, he'll do bigger. I sold all my musical instruments and I built a nursery for my wife. And I did it with so much pride. It was a joy because I wanted to see her dream come true. It's very important as a woman that you position yourself right, you act yourself right. If you have the opportunity to spend time with your mother, spend time with your mother and learn so much that when you meet a man, he knows what you have on your table. And if you don't have your mother around you, there is definitely an adopted mother. So when you go, you can sniff who a great man is. So you don't go into the relationship disabled, but you go in fully equipped, knowing that if this is who you have become, then this is who I am, and I got your back. Don't just jump in anyhow and anyway and any go. No, because your offspring will suffer it. A lot of divorces that you see around us, and you see the children suffering. When you ask, where's the father? We don't know where the father is. It was a one-night stand. Hey, one-night stand, that means that you've lost the identity of the male offspring. Yet that's the product. So every attitude the child is giving you, you're literally figuring it out. You know it's not you. You know this is not you. But because you didn't know him for long, there's repetition of history. That's why I said there's a difference between mixed breed. Some people are so fascinated by mixed race that you want to have a child by all means with a mixed race or white, and you want, hey! Check the breed first. So you don't fall a victim. The older you get, the wiser you become. A young man who's a musician got an offer for $2 million. And he asked why. And the mother said, I'll give you $2 million for you to give my daughter a child because I want my grandchild to be a musician like you. People understand the power of offspring. He got an offer. Let me give you 2 million. I just need an offspring that you're carrying for my daughter. I need this gift in my house. Oh, I'll give you anything, just impregnate my daughter. I want to crossbreed. He rejected it. But you need to understand what you have. You have to understand what you're carrying. You have to understand the power of gifts. You have to understand the power of everything you carry. Otherwise, as a woman, you end up with offsprings that you don't know how to handle. Yet you lose every hair because you're spending time on that. Now we're going to do 2 sets of prayers. The first prayer is as a single, God, open my eyes to make strategic decisions. And if you're married, you're praying to God to get better and better every day. Marriage is not about sex. Marriage is about offspring and legacy. So for marriage couples, you're praying that God, let us have the right legacy. Our offspring must bring honor, not shame, not stress, not disgrace. But every offspring of mine, I had to hit a certain age before I finished university and got my PhDs. My children must all finish their university degrees. All of them. That's all I demand. So I have to strategically take all of them to a particular place so they can be attracted to particular offspring. Have you ever seen a rich man marry a poor woman? Rich man's child marry? No. They put their children around each other to play around each other because they want family inheritance to remain. Do your research. A lot of rich folks, you'd see that they've known each other from childhood, sweetheart. No, the parents were strategic. They wanted to keep wealth within. Offspring, the strategic planner. So you're going to pray, God, if I have the privilege to have an offspring now, then Lord, please give me the wisdom to handle this offspring. And Lord, if I don't, and I'm still searching, then now that I understand, let me first of all find out who I am. Let me find out who I am. Show me who I am. Show me my real identity. And show me who I am compatible with. Please lift up your hands and begin to pray.
Give and it shall be given unto you. Luke 6:38. If you love the ministry of Dr. Sonnie Badu and would like to support RockHill Church, kindly send your donations online by visiting our website, www.therockhillchurch.org, and click the green Give Now button at the top right-hand corner. You can also give on PayPal to the RockHill Church at gmail.com or on Cash App, $RockHill Church, with phone number 404-247-6460. God bless you as you give, for it is more blessing to give than to receive. Acts 20:35.